How's it going, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning into this video. And before we begin, I just want to say I was kind of putting this video off. I am a very humble and content person with everything that I own, and I don't really particularly like showing off, if you will. The things that I own aren't flashy, or they're not super expensive or anything like that, and this goes with everything. I just buy the things that make the most sense and are in my price range for me at any given time. But I was asked to do a toolbox tour, and I'm going to do that for you guys. At the end of every video, I ask you to put in the comments any questions, comments, concerns, or any video ideas that you would like to see me do. And I do my damnedest to go over all of them. So we will touch base on what is my toolbox and what is inside my toolbox. So again, I'm not putting this video out there to show off anything that I have. As a matter of fact, I am a very conscious person on the amount of money I spend on tools and tool storage. And again, I'm not out to impress anybody. My tools work for me just like your tools work for you. And in my opinion, I don't need nothing flashy. I just need something to get the job done. So let's get into my toolbox. So this is my toolbox, and I am very proud of what I have. Again, I'm very conscious with my money. Toolbox, it is a 72 inch long by 22 inches deep, and bottom box, it's US General, of course. Pretty reasonably priced toolbox. It does the job. And then the top is a 72 by 22 inches deep Rural King toolbox with a hutch. And the hutch is about maybe 5 inches tall. Just for comparison, I am 6 foot, so that is how tall my toolbox is. I mean, if I were to shut the hutch, of course my toolbox is a little shorter than me, but this is just for size comparison. So before we get into my toolbox and the things that I own and stuff like that, I just want everybody to know, me being self-conscious with my money and buying the things that I need to get the job done, I don't see any reason to go out and spend more money on a box versus more money on tools. I would rather have more tools with a decent box than a super expensive box and have very little tools, because tools in your brain are where you make your money. Tool storage is just simply that. This toolbox serves that purpose. It holds all of my tools that I have here, except for the ones on the hutch, but we'll get into that in a minute. All I need is something to hold my tools. I don't need nothing flashy. I don't need to be in debt over owning a toolbox. I don't like owing anybody anything. As a matter of fact, I don't owe anybody anything in this toolbox at my house. As far as credit cards go, we only owe a little bit of life, but I don't owe anything to anybody. I mean, I could pay that credit card off today if I wanted to. We just use credit cards to build credit. It's another thing we'll get into the future of this video. But this toolbox serves my purpose. I, again, don't feel the need to go in debt and spend $10,000 on a really flashy, nice toolbox when I can get by with what I have into it. the entire toolbox, the bottom box cost me $1,400, and the top box cost me $400. So altogether, in this 72 by however tall by 22 inches deep toolbox, I am in at $1,800, which to me is perfect. I didn't spend an arm and a leg in this toolbox. And if I ever needed to get out from underneath it, I could simply do so. I would never ask, more money than what I spent on the toolbox, of course, to the resale. I would say for anybody getting into the industry, don't go out and buy that really expensive, nice toolbox as your first box. Number one, you're just getting into the industry. Later on down the road, you could decide that you don't want this. You don't want to turn wrenches for a living. Well, now you're in debt for a toolbox and whatever you bought for tools, and you're trying to get out from underneath it. To me, that doesn't make any sense. I would rather buy my stuff outright, own it, and if I ever wanted to go anywhere else, I own everything. I can take it with me and not have to worry about, oh crap, did I miss that payment on that tool truck? Or, oh crap, are they gonna repossess my box because I can't make the payments anymore? I have no worries at all. So that is the reason behind my toolbox. It is just there to hold my tools. As far as tools go, again, I buy what works. I think lifetime warranty is worth its weight in gold. I like to shop locally, so I'm not waiting on a tool truck to show up or anything like that. If I break a tool, I don't want to have to wait a week for some guy on a tool truck to show up and take that tool with him and then bring it back another week later. I would rather take that tool, go to the store or wherever I bought it, and then get it back same day and be back to doing the job. A few rules I have with my toolbox. No one borrows tools. Or if I let you borrow tools, I know who did it because you have to ask me to borrow my tools. You are not allowed just to get into my toolbox. I think everybody should set up that rule for themselves, but that's just my opinion. I don't need anybody taking a tool that I have spent my hard-earned dollar on and losing it or breaking it or running off with it, just thieving. I paid for it. If I'm gonna loan out a tool, I'm worried about it till the end of the day, and I don't need that amount of irritation or frustration when you put the tool that you borrowed back in the wrong spot, or you put it back covered in grease or anything like that. Or if you do borrow a tool and you just lay it up top and it's just filthy, I don't need that any irritation. So it would be wise to keep track of all your tools. If you do loan them out, make sure you get them back and make sure they get back in the same condition in which you loaned them out. But as far as my toolbox goes, I don't loan tools out. I've had too many people break them or rob me of them or just put them back in the wrong spot, dirty as hell. So that is my toolbox. I guess we'll actually get into the toolbox. So just one more glance at the outside. Of course, it's $1,800 worth of Harbor Freight and Roll King toolbox. Works perfect for me. I've decorated to my liking. A lot of the stickers are ones that we sell on the IDI Legends website, of course, but I like stickers on my toolbox. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of, customizing their toolbox or whatever, but I like to. It's just my personal taste. I guess fast stickers, 207 stickers, just some small businesses that I've worked with over the years. Of course, I dip, get that sticker on there. But of course, rocking Chevy stuff. This toolbox works perfect for me. It holds all of my tools that I need it to, and I'm not worried about making anything fit at this point. This will not be my last toolbox, and my next toolbox won't be terribly expensive either. Of course, let's go to the side. So, and my Harbor Freight press, I absolutely love that. I have no complaints. It does the job for what I need to do. Ball joints, kingpins, bushings and A-arms, stuff like that. It works perfect for me. That little roll cart right there is absolutely a lifesaver. You can see a little cabinet on the side. I can put tools or parts if I'm working on something, just rolling around. I really love that. Of course, you got space for my creeper. It's just a Harbor Freight creeper, and it's missing 2 wheels. And I really don't like that creeper, but it's 3 years old. I can't complain too much. Going along with my toolbox, this is my little roll cart or workbench, if you will. I picked this out of a scrapyard. Somebody was just going to junk it, and it works perfect if I'm working on a wire and harness, or I'm taking apart like a 4-wheeler engine or anything like that. I can just lay parts around on it, work really comfortable, and it's really handy. I picked that up for maybe $15. Of course, I got my mini fridge that I usually keep Mountain Dews in. But on the hutch, you can kind of see a little bit of a theme here. Now, I don't want any sort of bickering in the comments as far as which power tool is the best or which one's crap, why are you buying that? You could get X amount of different brands, stuff like that. Again, I buy the tools that work for me. And anybody starting out buying power tools or anything like that, I recommend you just go and try to get your hands on as many different brands as possible and find out what works for you. Not everybody likes the same tool. That's just a fact. Some people like Snap-on, some people just are content with Craftsman, some people are really content with Pittsburgh. There's nothing wrong with any one of those. It's, as far as power tools go get your hands on as many as you can, see what you like before you make that purchase, because I also recommend sticking with the same brand. I wouldn't recommend somebody to just, buy, for example, DeWalt half-inch impact, Milwaukee Sawzall, Makita drill. That is way too many different batteries. That is way too many, just different brands of tools that you're gonna have to keep track of. And in my opinion, I would recommend staying with the same brand. Just for example, these 3 over here take the same battery. It's an M12 battery, and that Milwaukee speaker can also take the M12 battery, or it can use the M18 battery. So as far as Milwaukee goes, I only have 2 batteries to worry about. If I was also buying DeWalt and Makita, then I would have 6 different batteries to try and keep charged and keep track of and stuff like that. If I'm looking for a battery and I find one and it's not charged, there's an issue. That is hours or minutes lost that I could be working on the project instead of using a hand tool, I could be using a power tool. I hate waiting on an uncharged battery, and I have plenty of batteries, so I never have that issue. So only 2 different types of batteries I have to worry about. So of course, I like to listen to a little bit of music while I'm working. That's just a Bluetooth speaker. I plug get my phone hooked up to it, and that thing is awesome. It keeps my sanity. I absolutely love my underhood light. Of course, Milwaukee. That is a tripod light. Makes it real handy for working outside at night. And then I just bought this little air pump, and I have yet to use it, but I'm excited to find out how good it works. I know it goes up to 120 psi, and granted, that's kind of pushing it for that little air pump, but if I go on a little road trip or whatever, I can just grab a hold of that, take it with me, bring some batteries, and then I won't have to worry about if I run into a slack tire or anything like that. So let's start off with the top box. So this is my more or less personal drawer. Markers, pens, air chalk, some air fittings, little coin bucket, if you will. These are some broken tools that I gotta go take back, some feeler gauges, tire depth gauge, some locks, just some random BS that I keep in the top drawer that more or less, if I just need it, I can grab it and go. Top middle drawer, this is my pry bars, hose clamps, vice grips, cutters, wire strippers, things of that nature. Again, a lot of this you see is Harbor Freight, and these are the Icon snap ring pliers. I absolutely love these. I've only broken one of them. Milwaukee cutter, and actually I like this Matco cutter better than Milwaukee. Just some random vice grips, hose clamps, stuff like that. Needle nose up back. This is my receipts drawer, as well as for example, like this brake servicing manual. This is my manuals that I have, just so I can reference back to something if need be. This is a drawer of just random miscellaneous tools. I do a lot of work just by myself. I hate relying on somebody else to be there in order to get a job done. So a lot of the tools I have just so I can work on something myself, like this Matco extending apparatus here. It's so I can, check brakes, or just hold the brake pedal or anything like that by myself. Of course, I got striker, hose cutters, miscellaneous scrapers, rivet gun, gauging tool. There's some fuel line disconnect tools, drill bits, one filter wrench. If any of you are wondering why I keep a random block of wood, of course, I work on tractor-trailer trucks, and when I worked at Freightliner, and I still work on 18-wheelers, more or less. This is a block of wood that I cut down that is 2 7/8 inches tall. And I would use this block of wood to set the ride height on air suspension. So just this little handmade tool that I'm not down there holding one of these to it and trying to set the ride height. This is my paint drawer. I have my paint gun underneath here, and my filters, my cops, painter's tape, stuff like that, M3 double-sided tape. I am not a painter by any means. I just dabble with it here and there. Sandpaper, stuff like that. I'm no professional painter. This is a drawer of 6.5 random gaskets and other odds and ends. Brake parts kits, stuff like that for Chevrolets. This is another 6.5 dedicated drawer. Of course, always have a spare PMD just kicking around. Thermostats, heat sink, optical sensor, couple miscellaneous bushings. I have quite a few gauges that I use to check oil pressures and fuel pressures and stuff like that on the trucks that I work on. A couple of specialty tools like the engine temp fooler and Quadstar's injection pump adjusting timer. A couple seals. And then these are some of the scanners I use, and I will get into those here in just a sec. So when it comes to scanners, of course, I work on big trucks. This is just a can-do where I can plug this up to an OBD2 connection for like Macs or even just regular cars in general, and it's an app on your phone that you can get called HD Truck Mobile. And then I also have the adapters for the 9-pin and the older model trucks that I can read their just about everything on the trucks, everything that the ECU will tell me. This is a little pricey, about $500. For the OBD1 GM trucks and cars, this is what I use, or this is one of the things I use. I have a Leroy Diesel program that I'll talk about towards the end of the video. It comes with a little booklet. I just bought this from, I think, AutoZone or Advanced. Super handy. Just plug it up, read the flash codes, find the flash codes in the book, and it should be pretty well able to narrow down what might be going on. As far as OBD2 stuff, this is another scanner that I have. This is a Matco scanner. I absolutely love this thing. I can read just about everything that the ECU will tell me. I can read just about any parameter, and if I need to get into, say, some of the newer vehicles or anything like that, I need to read injector balance on, say, a Duramax or anything like that, I can buy the subscription to GM or Ford or Audi or anything like that, and this will help me narrow things down. It will give me harnesses that I can test, tell me the steps and how to test them, stuff like that. So that's one of the scanners that I use. It's very handy for me. Of course, everybody's got their own opinions on the different scanners, but that's just what I use. Moving on down the line, this is my toolkits drawer, coolant system pressure tester. This I bought from Matco. And the reason why I bought this is because I work in a shop with compressed air, and it's super simple to just plug this up to the air hose and turn the dial and pressurize something to 15 psi and just get the job done quicker. I don't necessarily like the hand pump ones, however, they are reliable. I believe I have one at the house, so I can test things without needing air. This just makes it super easy when I do have compressed air. This is a flare kit. I've used that many times. It's just a little Harbor Freight one. Ball joint press, again, Harbor Freight. Love this little press. Again, I haven't used it since I bought that press, but it's just easy convenience. This little puller here, I mainly bought for GM power steering pumps, but you can use this puller and that puller for just about anything. come in really handy. And of course, you see Pittsburgh. This little soldering gun I haven't used in just about years, and we'll get into that once we get down to that drawer. But again, this one is actually not Pittsburgh or anything. It works great. I'm considering taking it home because I just don't use this one anymore. Case is kind of bulky, and I don't really have a different spot to put it in my toolbox, so I just keep it around because I spend money on it. Moving on, this is my top box electrical drawer. So I believe everybody needs a test light. I prefer the ones with the little face on it, so it'll tell you how many volts you are testing. This has a little screen on it with a little LED light that will tell me whether I'm getting 12 volts or 5 volts or anything like that. I got a little bit of extra wire back here so I can test some things. A little bit thicker wire with some clamps. This is my multimeter that I use. I believe I bought this back in 2015, 2016. Super handy little multimeter. It comes with like a little temperature probe and stuff like that. I believe I only paid about $250 for it, but super handy. I love it. This is a little Matco relay buddy is what it's called, and if you're ever questioning whether you have a good or a bad relay, you can use a battery and test the relays themselves. You can test a variety of different types, such as 5-pin, 4-pin, and different types of 5-pin, stuff like that. Just if you're ever running into electrical issues and you're not certain if the relays or anything like that are working, just one more helpful tool that I use in order to do my job. But the absolute most used thing in this drawer is probably my power probe. I absolutely love this thing. This thing has come in clutch when I've needed to figure out electrical problems more. Now, you can cause fires with with this, electrical fires, but if you read the manual, understand how to use it, stuff like that, this tool is an absolute lifesaver when figuring out electrical issues. You can really do some damage with this if you don't know how to use it. Like if you put 12 volts to a 5-volt system, say like a transmission control module, you fry that TCM. I've seen a coworker do that before, and I wind up having to figure it out using this when he fucked it up in using one of these. So this is the absolute most used tool in this this drawer. Next would definitely be my multimeter, but it's my little electrical drawer. And then this is just another one of those BS drawers where the company I work for, we practice lockout tag out, just clipboard, the handles for the sides of the toolbox, an extra shirt just in case like I get covered in coolant or hydraulic. I don't want to stay covered in it. Just keep that in there. A little notepad, some extra gloves, glasses, stuff like that. So that finishes off the top box. So now we're getting into the bottom box, and this is the realm in which I have probably spent the most money on. So everybody wants to see the socket drawer, right? This is my socket drawer, and when I first started out in mechanics way back when, a little backstory. I started working as a mechanic professionally in 2015. However, I have been collecting tools for damn near forever, as long as I can remember. I come from a logging background. We always had equipment and stuff like that, and I was always working on it. So I've been collecting tools for quite some time, and I just pick up tools that make sense. And when I started out, I paid $1,000 for a little Craftsman's toolbox with a 1,050 piece Craftsman's tool set, and I still actually have most of that Craftsman stuff that I still have today. Of course, I don't have that toolbox no more because there's no reason for me to hang on to it. But if you're starting out, get the essentials. Get what you need, not necessarily what you want. That way, if you ever change your mind, decide you don't want to do it no more, well, at least you're not into it thousands and thousands of dollars. I made plenty of money and all of that $1,000 back just by being a mechanic, and then I was able to save up more money in order to afford bigger things or more things that I wanted, and I didn't have to worry about paying anybody off or taking out loans or anything like that. So this is my socket drawer. Everything chrome except for that you see is all Craftsman, except for of course my snap-on stuff. I'll get into that in a minute. The snap-on set and my Torx wrenches. Got just some older Torx wrenches, except for the Husky one. That one I use for small engine stuff. But all the chrome you see is Craftsman out of that 1,050 piece tool set. Of course, I have 6-point, 12-point. This is standard side and metric side. That's what just keeps my OCD at bay. All the impact sockets down here, right here and here, those are all Pittsburgh. Of course, my big sockets are Pittsburgh. I've beat the ever-loving crap out of all the Pittsburgh sockets. They all have a lifetime warranty, and I couldn't be happier. These 4 little sockets right here are Milwaukee. Those are the only Milwaukee sockets I have. But Craftsman for these square nuts, a random assortment of wobble sockets and impact wobbles and just stuff like this, to where if I'm in a pinch and need to change the size of the socket I'm working with, I can do so. I also like these little drivers, these little screwdriver drivers. Don't know exactly what they're called, but I absolutely love them. They make for tightening hose clamps, just super slick in places that I can't fit, like a power tool or anything like that. Axle nut sockets for Ford and GM, super handy. So the fun little story behind Snap-on and me owning Snap-on. I have only ever bought one Snap-on tool, and that was a 1/2-inch impact air impact gun. And I still have that air impact today, and I love it. It's a good gun, and I primarily bought it, one, because I needed it when I worked at Freightliner and was just getting into mechanics and stuff and hadn't yet bought air tools. Number 2, I thought I could really build my credit with starting out buying tools and making little payments. That's a no. It doesn't make as big an impact as you think if you're starting out a line of credit. That is the only Snap-on tool I've ever bought, and that is probably the only Snap-on tool I will ever buy. Nothing against Snap-on, other than I think their prices are they're up there, and for me, I just buy what works for me, what feels comfortable, and I don't see the need to go out and spend gobs of money that I could spend on something else like truck parts or, little trips or anything like that. So this little snap-on set that I have, I won second place Skills USA for the state of Maine, and that was my prize. It was $120 value, and that's what I got. Fun fact about these colored sockets, and fun fact about me, I am blue-green colorblind. Not a whole lot of people know that, and now everybody who watches this video to this point knows that. So, what that means is I have a blue-green color deficiency, and one of my exes found out about this and thought it'd be funny to buy me colored sockets. I was not amused, but I still hang on to them because she bought them for my birthday, which is on the 18th of December, and I'm not going to get rid of tools that somebody's willing to buy me, so I'm still going to beat the crap out of them. See, let's go left to right. So this is my filter wrenches, my picks, a couple files, and scrapers drawer. This is a filter wrench for a Davco filter off, say, 60 series or DD 13, 15, 16. A lot of them run the Davco filters, and there are two different sizes. There's the big one and the little one, which I have the wrench for the little one. Big truck stuff. Just a cheap tap and die set. Pittsburgh worked perfect for me. I got my wire brush. I got a couple other little brushes down here. A couple more taps, just in case I ever fudge one up. Next drawer down, these are all the air tools I have in this toolbox. So just my Mac tool blow nozzle, a couple of clevises for when I work on trailers, and then my little die grinder, and then an assortment of hole saw and wire brushes, stuff like that. I don't have my air hammer with me, but my air hammer bits, and then a tire plug kit for some reason. This is my chemicals and welding / torch drawer. Fun fact, that is my old exhaust tip off of my pickup. I got a couple funnels, thread tape, thread locker, stuff like that, grease, just all the chemicals that I use on a pretty regular basis. Then a torch, then my welding helmet, gloves, and welding jacket. Next drawer, just below my sockets drawer, is my standard wrenches drawer. And I try to keep this as organized as I can while fitting every single standard wrench that I have. This organization works for me. May not work for everybody, but this is all the room that I got. So, of course, I work on machinery and trucks and stuff like that have hydraulic systems, and maybe not everybody needs a 2-inch wrench, but I certainly do on, say, some of the auto cars with the Magnelius bodies and stuff like that. So I got everything up to 2-inch ratchet wrenches, box end wrenches, line wrenches. These are little Pittsburgh crow's feet, little stubby wrenches. See, from here up is Pittsburgh and a Sunex. This is, Lord only knows, that brand. I actually found that in a truck that we were scrapping, and then everything else is Craftsman. Next drawer down is the same thing, metrics. I've run into trucks that have needed metric, let's see, 50 mil wrenches. So just continue to buy what I need. This came in a set, so I bought it. Just in case the off chance of whether I need a 48 millimeter wrench, I have it. These little wrenches, I've only used one out of the little pack, and of course, Allen wrenches, same in my standard drawer, line wrenches, Craftsman, Pittsburgh. Next drawer down is, that drawer's a little heavy. This is my hammers, pry bars, punches, and my pipe wrenches. So punches, of course, I have some chisels, some cheap punches. I like to save this old Mac kingpin and this old Autocar kingpin and this old S-cam for punches. I also use this as a punch. I don't know what that is. I believe it's a steering column off of a Fuso, but I've used that quite a bit. When I lived in Texas, I worked at Goodyear Commercial Tires, so I have a tire bar. And let me know in the comments below how many of you have ever peeled a tire. I most certainly have peeled many a fucking tire. And, you know, I've used the golden tool. I've used the blue bars for the single wheels. You don't need blue bars. Blue bars suck, right? But let me know if you've ever peeled the tire. I'm curious. But then I went to Scrapyard and found that little fun wrench. Hammer combination crowbar. So, okay, before I get into this is probably the drawer that has the most money spent in it, and that's a hint. So I like to keep all of my Milwaukee stuff together, and I also hoard Milwaukee stuff. So, like I said, I picked one brand that I thought had every tool that I could ever want, with the same style battery and stuff like that. So, of course, I went with Milwaukee. Yours may be DeWalt, Makita, Ryobi if you prefer, but this is my power tools drawer. Absolutely love their sawzalls, their grinders, 1/2 inch and 3/8 impact driver's drill, sander. That is a little portable charger that I have. Die grinder. That's my Milwaukee solder. My little soldering iron, and then my ratchet and my grease gun. I almost have one battery for every Milwaukee tool that I have. I believe 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 4, but other than that, go what works for you. This is just my toolbox, but Milwaukee works for me. Let me know down in the comments. I don't want anybody to have a pissing war over which one is better, which one sucks, or you should have went with whatever. I don't care, but let me know what you got in the comments. The bottom drawer is for the stuff that is too big to put anywhere else. So I found that 1-inch gun. Somebody was going to throw it away. I bought like a $50 rebuild kit. It's a GP, and it works great. Of course, I need to put an air fitting on it, but Porta Power, just Pittsburgh. Okay, I work on heavy equipment and trucks and stuff, and sometimes drivers just aren't the easiest on anything. So whenever they bend or break something and I have to weld it back, I love using that Porta Power to bend it back in place. Trailer cord that works, I use that as like a diagnostic thing to see if a bad trailer cord or anything like that. Got a big gauge under there, got a brake bleeder, which also comes in handy if you have if you're changing injectors on, say, like a 3126 cat, that is super handy to hook a hose to and suck all of the oil out of the cylinder. This is my ratchets and extensions drawer. Keep it pretty well stocked with miscellaneous extensions, Craftsman, Pittsburgh, and in all honesty, the most used ratchet in this whole drawer is this Pittsburgh one right here. I like my Craftsman stuff, but this is my go-to. Screwdrivers, I bought 2 sets of screwdrivers because screwdrivers don't always just stay screwdrivers. Sometimes you need them as a scraper, sometimes you need them as a punch, and they just progressively get messed up over the years. So bought 2 sets, and this all works perfectly for me. Got my flat blades over here, got my Phillips over here, got my little Torx drivers over here. Below that, I have enough adjustables and just some extra vice grips just in case, you know, I feel like beating the crap out of some vice grips or destroying some vice grips. Can never go wrong with some extra cheap ones. But of course, adjustables just in case you need to go on a road call and don't want to take every wrench with me. This is my miscellaneous electrical drawer slash hose clamp drawer. Just got some random fuses and breakers and butt connectors if I need them, relays, relay packs, battery kill switch, a push button just in case, some electrical tape, some bulbs, and these are welding tips. So now this is, everybody's got that just random BS drawer, right? So I've got enough hydraulic caps, just some brass fittings, some miscellaneous bolts, screws, washers, spacers. I've got enough brake chamber bolts, just some, that is a coolant, that is a radiator quick connect to drain it. So off of a Freightliner M2. And my clamps for when I'm welding, pullers. This is a Pitman arm puller and then a pickle fork, and that is my brake tool that I've had for absolutely years. Never mind that. Just random box of rice that I always keep in my toolbox, just in case I ever get hungry or need something. And then just some random bungees and some zip ties and stuff. And then this drawer is my miscellaneous steel drawer. So if I am ever needing, you know, some angle iron or some flat stock, or, you know, just an extra heavy duty punch, or the head off of a spoonbill hammer, or just to make a bracket or anything like that, I just keep some random steel miscellaneous stuff in that drawer. So that is my toolbox here at the shop, and these are not all of the tools that I own, and this is going to be a full video of toolbox tour. So I have another toolbox that I also have plenty of tools in, so let's go the whole video. Alright, next day at the house. It got dark, so I couldn't really show you guys last night, but In the shed is where I do most of my tooling and stuff like that, but I also have a toolbox in here, and this is what I work out of when I'm at the house. I don't feel like going to the shop. And we have my wife's toolbox. And fun fact about my wife, she actually went to school to be an automotive mechanic, and then when we moved to Texas, those dreams kind of got destroyed in a sense, but I'm not going to get into that. But here's a bunch of sockets that her and I have collected, either my spares that I never needed, taking up space in my toolbox, or stuff that she has bought or her father has bought for her. So I got sockets, screwdrivers, those are Phillips, these are flatheads. These are standard wrenches on this side, metric wrenches of the various sorts. This is the air / miscellaneous tool drawer. These two guns are mine. I absolutely love my little Sunex one, and this is that snap-on one that I bought when I first started out. Absolutely love that gun too. It's got plenty of torque. I bought this to do alignments on big rigs when I worked in Texas. More vice grips and ratchets, extensions. Try to keep it as organized as I can so my mind doesn't mess with me. A couple tool kits, hacksaw, or just a saw, like a handsaw, picks, brake tools, filter wrench. This drawer is completely empty aside from some drill bits, some grinding heads, and the bottom drawer is a bunch of miscellaneous lights, wires, door clips, brake parts, stuff like that, Sawzall. Big ass pipe wrench. Don't worry about that. I literally just bought that yesterday. If you don't want to see me do videos on that, I can. That's why I keep this channel just my name and not the IDI Legends. But and then as far as other tools go, I have that Leroy Diesel program that I can hook up to the wife's truck or any OBD2 6.5s, and I always keep a healthy set of tools in the toolbox or the backseat of my wife's truck and my truck. So if I am ever on the side of the road in need of a tool, I just open the toolbox, get a full Milwaukee bag, and of course my Pittsburgh sets. Keep some jack stands, chain binders, ratchets, a jack, my liquids, of course, if I'm ever running low. There we go. And a funnel. So over the course of many a year that I've been collecting tools and doing mechanics as a profession, again, I just buy the tools that work for me. My toolbox is going to look completely different from everybody else's. I just need the essentials. I don't need some name brand thing in order to get the job done that I could buy the exact same thing for a fraction of the price and get the job done just as well. So that is my toolbox tour. I hope y'all enjoyed getting the random questions out of the way, but if y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, or any more video ideas, please let me know in the comments below. I love talking to you guys, and I'll catch you legends in the next one.